gonna record.
What page
Okay,
is this?
we are on page 8. Thoughts about what to do with the numerator, Hillary? One plus tangent squared x is secant squared x. There we go. So numerator is secant squared x all over, Brendan, 1 minus sine squared x. What does that give us? Cosine squared x. Yeah, that's right. Good. Okay. And now we need to kind of do some rewriting. In this case, guys, take a look at what we are trying to get to for our answer. Right? Notice that our answer is in terms of secant. So normally we would rewrite in terms of sines and cosines, but in this particular case, to get where we're trying to get to, we're actually going to rewrite that cosine squared, aren't we? So let's keep this as secant squared in the numerator. Okay, I want to rewrite that denominator as 1 over secant squared x, because then when I do my keep it, change it, flip it, I'm going to get secant to the 4th x, which is what I wanted. So remember that last step, I should see left-hand side equals right-hand side, exactly the same thing. So like I said, keep in mind, notice on this one, we normally want to rewrite in terms of sines and cosines, but on this one, we were trying to get to something that was a secant, so we actually had to rewrite the cosine in terms of secant. Hopefully that makes sense. Sure, Mrs. Ireland, clear as mud. Okay, onward. Common denominator, for sure, right? So we're going to multiply here by what, David? Over here on the right side.
1 plus cosine.
There you go, 1 plus cosine x and 1 plus cosine x. And here is going to be this 1 minus cosine x and 1 minus cosine x. If you recall, we've done a problem like this before. It's really important you're keeping track of your signs, positive and negative signs. Okay? All right, so we've got to distribute here. So we're going to distribute, and we're going to have sine x minus sine x times cosine x. And then we're going to have minus, and I'm going to put parentheses around this whole amount. And then I'm distributing here, and I get sine x plus sine x cosine x. And then this is all over 1 minus cosine squared x. Okay, we'll deal with that numerator, but I'm seeing that simplifies pretty easily, yes? What does that give us in the denominator?
Sine squared x.
Yeah, we've got sine squared x here. All right, now let's go back and look at our numerator. Please notice this is saying minus sine x. So what happens with this sine x?
They cancel.
So those add to 0. But we're distributing here, so really this is a minus sine x there when we distribute that negative, right? So in the numerator we have negative 2 sine x cosine x, right? When we've distributed that negative, that becomes a negative. And so then these, whoops, all right, Ireland, I thought I was in highlighter mode, sorry. This and this combine together to give me that. Okay, Alex, what can we do from there?
Simplify, or when you can take away the sine x.
Okay, yeah, this sine x divides out with one of those. And so then we are left with negative 2 cosine x over sine x. And guys, that's what we're looking for. Negative 2 cotangent x. Boom. Left-hand side equals right-hand side. Guys, keep in mind, these take a little bit longer now because you're not used to this. I'm hoping you're starting to recognize some patterns and some commonalities with a few of these. It just takes practice. So it's gonna take you a little bit longer. You just gotta kind of keep working through them. Okay, every one of these problems is a little bit different, so that's something to kind of keep in mind too. Okay, all right, we need to review some factoring. Because in some instances, you are gonna have to do some factoring. So it's possible that you have a common factor that you have to factor out. So if you notice here, we have a common factor of A. And if we factor out that common of A, then we are left with 1 minus B squared. And guys, that 1 minus B squared can get factored also, right? So it might be the case that we've got to do one more step and do 1 plus B and 1 minus B. Right? So that's what this question is reminding us about, this difference of two squares. So that x squared minus 1 might be x plus 1 times x minus 1. And this one is just flipped. I'm going to jump to this, right? 1 plus x and 1 minus x. But this is a really important one. So sometimes you see something that looks like this, and guys, that's what's called a trinomial squared, where this can be rewritten as x minus 1 quantity squared. And in some instances, you see that quantity squared. So this is kind of a key, put a star or an asterisk next to that. Okay. We're not gonna have, we're running out of time, but I wanna go through one of these. Guys, when we get to this one, I need you to notice, that's the trick. Let's take a look at this one. No, I lied, let's take a look at this one. Example 3. What can we factor out on the left-hand side? Yep, we can factor out a sine x, and what we're left with then when we factor out that sine x is 1 minus cosine squared x. And so then we have sine x times what?
Isn't it negative 1 or no?
Sine squared x multiplied into sine.
We factor out the sine and we're going to be left with 1 minus cosine squared. So the cosine's negative, is that what you mean?
Yeah, no, I.
Okay, so this 1 minus cosine squared x becomes sine squared x, and so then we've got our sine cubed. So sine cubed x is equal to sine cubed x. Guys, we're not done, and y'all are already packed up. It's a bit of a problem.